Sandra Dee. The name evokes the image of a young girl with long blonde hair, clear blue eyes, and a sweet smile that melted the hearts of generations. But there is a truth, a secret that perhaps many of us, those who love her, have never known in detail. Behind that angelic appearance, there is an adult world full of ghosts, traps that surrounded her from a very early age. In the late 50s, early 60s, when the name Sandra Dee was synonymous with innocence, purity, her image in Gidget, or Tammy and the Bachelor, became the model for the girl next door that every boy dreamed of, every girl wanted to become. But a question that perhaps I have asked myself many times when looking back on her life: was that smile ever truly complete? Or is it just a perfect mask created by a powerful entertainment industry hiding a young soul struggling with invisible demons in the harsh adult world? Sandra Dee, whose real name is Alexandra Zuck, from a child model with fragile beauty, has suddenly become an A-list star of Hollywood. Those were the years when Universal Pictures saw in her the potential of a new generation, America's sweetheart. They did not just give her roles, they molded an image. Sandra Dee was not just an actress, she was a carefully calculated product. Blonde hair, feminine clothes, standard statements, and especially almost absolute innocence. She became the queen of teen movies, with A Summer Place and Imitation of Life, movies in which she was always the embodiment of purity, sometimes a little bit of lovely rebellion, but never crossed the line. Do you remember the image of Sandra Dee as Molly Jorgensen in A Summer Place, with the romance with Troy Donahue that made many hearts flutter? Or the role of daughter Susie in Imitation of Life, struggling with social prejudices? That was the peak, the most brilliant period of Sandra's career. Every girl wanted to dress like her. But few people know that, to have that halo, Sandra Dee had to pay a very high price, starting from her closest loved ones and an industry that only cared about profit. And then, at the height of that fame, a whirlwind of love came. Bobby Darin, a versatile, rebellious, and somewhat experienced musical talent, is the complete opposite of Sandra's good girl image. They met on the set of Come September in 1960. It was love at first sight, a quick wedding after only a few months of dating, despite the dissuasion of Sandra's mother and Universal Studios, who feared that this marriage would ruin the golden virgin image they had worked so hard to build. An 18-year-old girl, accustomed to the arrangements and protection of her mother and the studio, suddenly rushed into a passionate but also stormy marriage. Bobby Darin, with a strong and somewhat patriarchal nature, wanted Sandra Dee to become a proper wife, to retire and take care of the family. This went against the ambitions of her mother, Mary Symboliac Duvan, who always saw Sandra as a money-making machine. This is the fateful turn, a story that few people understand the complexity of. The public only sees a golden couple of Hollywood, but behind closed doors, it is the struggle between the roles of wife, daughter, and a star being controlled. Pressure from Bobby, pressure from her mother, pressure from her own innocent image that she cannot escape. And then, cracks begin to appear, not only in the marriage, but also in Sandra's already damaged soul. A little-known story is that Bobby Darin did not know Sandra's real age when they got married. Her mother lied about Sandra's age so that she could work earlier, and this lie continued to haunt her. This, although small, reveals a part of the control and secrets that surrounded her life. What we have just said about the pressure of marriage, about the control of the mother and the film studio, is not the end of the adult world full of demons that Sandra Dee had to face. The most horrifying, most painful truth lies in her seemingly peaceful childhood years. It was only later, when Sandra was on the other side of the slope of life, in the autobiography Dream Lover by her son, Darin, and in the rare times she dared to face the past, that people learned a terrible truth. Sandra Dee had suffered sexual abuse from the age of 8 to 12 by her own stepfather, Eugene Duvon. Her mother, Mary, whom Sandra once considered her whole world, seemed to know or deliberately ignore this. There were even accusations that she gave her daughter to powerful people in exchange for Sandra's opportunity to advance in the entertainment industry. Can you imagine? A child with a young soul carrying such a dark secret, innocence tainted, trust trampled, and then, to cope with the unspeakable pain, to try to control something in her life that had been stripped of control, Sandra turned to negative defense mechanisms. Anorexia began to torment her from a very young age, when her mother constantly pressured her to stay slim, to be perfect. "My mother was obsessed with my weight," Sandra once shared. "She weighed me every morning, and if I gained even an ounce, she wouldn't feed me." The pressure to maintain the public image of a slim, pure girl only made her eating disorder worse. Then came alcohol. Alcohol became her companion to forget her obsessions, her nightmares. Her marriage to Bobby Darin fell apart in 1967. Bobby's health deteriorated. He suffered from a congenital heart defect and died in 1973 at the age of 37. And Sandra's career faded as the teen queen image became unsuitable. She sank deeper into alcoholism and prescription drug addiction. The adult world was not just about lucrative contracts or stage glamour, but for Sandra, it was a trap full of predators, schemes, and betrayals from the people she loved the most. The smile we see on screen is the smile of a professional actress, but it is also the smile of someone trying to hide deep scars. She was boxed into the role of innocence, and ironically, that innocence was exploited and cruelly destroyed. The Hollywood industry, with its glamour, created a gorgeous Sandra Dee, but it also contributed to her tragedy. They needed her innocence. They exploited it, but they failed to protect her, or perhaps they didn't want to. Looking back at Sandra Dee's life, she was a victim of ambition, of abuse, of a cruel industry that only knew profit. Sandra Dee's smile, the smile that once captivated millions of hearts, now that we understand more about what she went through, it has a different meaning. A sad smile, a smile that was forced in the midst of nameless pain. She fought her own demons for most of her life. Even though there were times when she thought she would collapse, Sandra still tried to live, tried to find some peace for her soul. She left Hollywood, living a more reclusive life, but the past traumas still lingered as a lingering ghost. Sandra Dee passed away in 2005 at the age of 62, from complications from kidney disease and pneumonia, the result of years of struggling with anorexia and alcoholism. Have any of us, when reviewing the Gidget or Tammy films of the past, ever wondered about the unbelievable perfection of that smile? Do we realize that sometimes the innocence displayed excessively is a sign of something wrong that is hidden? MC. Sandra Dee's story certainly evokes many emotions and memories in your hearts. What do you think about her life and career? Please share your thoughts and memories in the comment section below. Each of your comments will contribute to making the picture of Sandra Dee more complete and multidimensional. Don't forget to click like if you find this content meaningful, share so that more people can know this story, and subscribe to our channel so as not to miss other profound stories about the world of cinema. Sincerely, thank you for listening.